Boom. All right, what's up, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about whether or not we should be feeling afraid of the price action that we have been seeing across the crypto markets. Things have been looking a bit spooky, so we are just going to jump straight into it today. Got to talk some technicals. In front of us is TradingView. You guys know the drill, where we will kick off the video today by talking the king and queen of the crypto markets, Bitcoin and Ether. You guys, of course, BTC and ETH. Their price action will heavily dictate the general price direction of the entirety of the markets. So got to kick it off with the two big dogs. And then in terms of equities, today we will be talking Coinbase and Riot Blockchain. If there is one company within the crypto sector that can weather this storm, in my opinion at least, it is going to be Coinbase. You guys, regardless of which direction crypto goes, whether Bitcoin is going up or down, Ether up or down, Coinbase generates revenue based on trades. So it's going down. If people are selling, Coinbase is still generating revenue. It got absolutely smoked today, along with the rest of the crypto equity sector and a lot of growth sectors of the equity markets. Which is, I mean, there's just fear in the air, you guys. That's how it's been for the past week or so. So this is fear. This is not rationale. But I do think once rationale sets back in, if not in the short term, then definitely by the time Coinbase announces their Q4 revenue and Q4 numbers come 2022, I think Coinbase is a great buy personally, once again, at these current levels. And we'll talk about that more as we dive into the charts. Closing it out, once again, got to talk the OG Riot, just because it is a staple of the channel over here. And I know you guys want to hear about Bitcoin miners, so we will close out the video. I'll give you guys my take on Bitcoin miners, pretty much just summing them up in Riot. And you guys, the reality is, if Bitcoin isn't looking good, Bitcoin miners aren't looking good, especially considering the equity markets, S&P and NASDAQ, are a bit frothy. I'm remaining optimistic. You guys know me, but again, you guys, still, it's nothing is certain right now, and I will preface the video with that. Okay, take everything we're saying with a grain of salt. These are very shaky waters. These are very emotional times, and it's hard to get precision reads during emotional times. Okay, so just keep that in mind and just stay on your toes, stay safe, you guys. All right, so those are the four names we are going to be covering today. Next to it, we do have a CoinMarketCap, just to take a look at the past 24-hour price action, because right now we are bouncing at the time of recording because this chart just recycled about an hour ago. But in the past 24 hours, you can see some carnage here, down 5.6% in the past 24 hours. The total market cap, that is a pretty staggering amount for something with a $2.26 trillion cap. That is a lot of liquidation. And again, you guys, it's the season, and to sum up a few of the reasons from a fundamental perspective why I personally believe we're seeing a sell-off not only in Bitcoin and the crypto markets, but in the equity markets as well, in growth sectors. I do want to read the excerpt on Bitcoin that I sent out in this morning's newsletter, just because, again, it short and sweet summarization of my fundamental beliefs around Bitcoin right now. So let's just read this and we'll dive into the charts, okay? 'Tis a rough day for the king and the kingdom. As I've been saying, since we experienced that massive sell-off last week, it's very worrisome to see a significant drop followed by a bounce, dead cat bounce in this case, and sideways price action. This is a very recognizable pattern within hype cycles. It typically means that another big move to the downside is ahead. I, along with many others, believe that the primary reason, this is it right here, we're seeing so much selling across growth markets is tax loss harvesting. Many of you guys are familiar with this, but this is the reality of what's going on right now. Individuals are liquidating positions in order to offset the taxes they'll need to pay when Uncle Sammy comes knocking. Also, investors who've made some pretty profits have Christmas presents to buy, and everyone who's afraid they won't have money to buy Christmas presents still have presents to buy as well. That said, it's entirely possible that we continue a slow climb to the upside following the short-term correction. My money is on more sideways price action or downside until 2022, though. I'm personally a buyer of Bitcoin at 40K. We'll talk about that as we dive into the charts. It just doesn't make sense to me that we fall below that at this point. Bitcoin is just too relevant to the global financial system, and the same definitely goes for Ether, in my opinion, as well, okay? So that is that, you guys. Again, let me know in the comments down below what you think the fundamental rationale behind a lot of this selling is. If you think it's tax loss harvesting, just offsetting taxes. If you think it's Christmas presents. If you personally are selling for either of these reasons, please let me know in the comments down below. Also, you guys, I will be gone once again. I'm heading back up to Cali to get our house up there in order. Going to do some cleaning. Last time I went up just a week or two ago, it was to clean and get things in order. This time is going to be a little more recreational, so I don't know how much I'll be posting. Going to do some fun stuff with the lady. Take her snowboarding for the first time up at our cabin at Big Bear. That should be a super fun time. It's supposed to snow. Super pumped. But anyway, I'm not going to promise any videos. I might not make any videos at all when I'm up there, if I'm being honest. So the only way to get updates from me, right, one of these bad boys every morning, you receive one of these daily newsletters every trading day from me during market hours, where I cover what's going on in the markets, my thoughts on the markets, all the names we cover here on the channel, Bitcoin, Decentraland, Bitcoin miners, EVs, etc., along with a complete breakdown of my entire portfolio that I do update every single trading day as well. And again, in the newsletter, talk some technicals, talk what I'm doing in my personal portfolio and rationalizing the trades that I'm making there, okay? So $15 a month, $40 every 3 months, you guys. That's the first link down in the description box below. Means a lot if you guys check it out. Yeah, appreciate it if you do. Work very hard on it. I truly feel it's worth it. But go see for yourself if you're interested. Again, that's the first link down below. Means a lot if you check it out. If not, no worries at all. Let's get into some price action. So again, we'll just preface the video with this. Bitcoin down 5.5% in the past 24 hours. Ether down 7.5%. Ether over the past 7 days, though, actually outperforming Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin at this time is playing a little bit of catch up in the short, very, very short term. So we'll see how that plays out. Let's just take a look real quick. I will be making over the coming day, either probably Saturday, I'll make a video on our good old metaverse tokens. So Mana at like 350, seeing some carnage. Of course, you guys, everything that's been ripping so hard, Mana, Sand actually faring very well, a lot better than most plays in the market right now, which is validating. But over the past 7 days, they're both down about 20%. So there's just some catch up being played there as well. We'll make a video on that short. But again, if you guys want daily updates, I talk about those pretty much every day in the newsletter. So link down below once again. Anyway, point is, you guys, the entirety of the crypto markets is seeing some downside. Let's just zoom in here. We'll kick it off with a short term and then zoom out to those price targets that I was talking about. Talk mid-month and maybe end-of-month price targets. So like a week from today, and then end-of-year price targets, I guess, because the end of this month is going to be the end of the year. So Bitcoin still very, very obviously in a downtrend, in a series of lower highs and lower lows. Previous high, low, new high, might be going on to set a new low, okay? So what I don't like to see here, again, you guys, as I mentioned in this excerpt, is every time you see a massive sell-off like this, again, Bitcoin down like 27% in the span of that 24-hour session. So Bitcoin pretty much, in less than a day, actually, Bitcoin fell over 25%, staggering loss, eaten back up fairly quickly. But, and over the past week or so, it has been looking a bit promising aside from the past couple of days, okay? But Bitcoin, you guys, it's never good. Again, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Ether, whether it's any growth cycle asset, which Bitcoin and Ether are, of course, it's never good to see this, you guys. I never like seeing this. And again, we've seen circumstances where we have seen a big sell-off like this, followed by a bounce and then a reversal to the upside. But a lot of the time, you guys, when you see a big dump followed by sideways price action, we're pretty much at the same level now as we were right after the bounce. That shows that the bulls are chilling out. Again, there's not many buyers at this moment, but there are sellers, okay? Well, that's what I'm afraid of, is even people who just bought up here and are seeing this correction. Like, what was the correction we just saw from this high a couple of days ago right here to where we are now? So that's like an 8.5% correction just in Bitcoin, and that's just Bitcoin. Like, imagine you bought Ether or Mana or some of these other plays on their balances, okay? People are offsetting taxes once again. So it does worry me right now. I will say that, again, my money is on more downside. I do think it's very possible that Bitcoin comes down to about $39,500 to $40,000, just because that has been a significant ceiling in the past. Of course, 40K is a significant psychological even as well. You can see it act as a floor back here if this will freaking load, which it probably won't, just because I'm recording a video and nothing ever loads when I record videos. You can see it acting as a ceiling in the past. And ceiling. Once we really cleanly broke above that, that's when we kind of reignited this rally. Came down, corrected, bounced right off that 40K level. So 40K is a pretty strong floor. Again, what I said in the what I say here? I don't remember. It just doesn't make sense to me that we fall below that. Bitcoin is just too relevant to the global financial system. Again, you guys, Bitcoin is freaking Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the genesis crypto. Crypto is taking over the world. Crypto is borderless. It's democratizing. And that's the beauty of what crypto brings to the evolving financial markets globally, okay? So Bitcoin, obviously everyone knows Bitcoin is like one of the strongest brands in the world at this point. I don't think it can fall below 40K. Obviously it can. Maybe we see 30K. I don't know. It's crypto. We've seen this many times before. I've lived this. I've lived 95% freaking declines in my crypto net worth before, okay? So would it be surprised? Maybe not that staggering this time because there's a lot more fundamentals at play. But staggering corrections are possible. I personally will say that I'm a buyer at 40K, okay? And I'll call it there. Short term, the upside argument is that we are currently bouncing on, we are currently kind of double bottoming out. So, okay, so as long as we're above this level, we are just barely above this level, we are still technically setting a higher low, okay? So below, again, sell off, high, low, higher high, we are still technically setting a higher low. Now, I would count this to be the low if I'm being honest, but, and we did fall below that, so it's looking pretty sketch, but if you want to get super technical, again, I wouldn't consider this, but some traders may be citing this. And I'm just trying to find some optimism in here if I'm being completely honest, and I will do that for all of these, the bear and bull case. So, again, we are still technically setting a higher low on the short-term uptrend. And as long as, if I'll say right now, if we can break above $52,000, that's bullish. That's all I'll say right now. Break above 52K, bullish. As long as we're below that, I think we will be, unless we dump, I do think that sideways price action is in order unless we really start falling off and make our way down to $40,000. Okay, so that is kind of the, hopefully, maybe if we do see a reversal, if we do call this a double bottom as well. I'm kind of just spitting out what's going through my mind right now. Sorry, you guys, there's a lot of trends at play. So if we do double bottom out right here, if we do see a test of the resistance right here on this uptrend, that is still these technical higher highs and higher lows. This is a very obvious line of resistance right here. If we can come up to test this line of resistance, again, week out target, December 14th, which is actually under less than a week from today now. But if things really reverse, if something goes, if the markets turn up, if everything starts to turn up again, if investors get bullish after a decent amount of carnage, okay? So things could happen fast, just keep that in mind. Bullish case scenario, very optimistic scenario. You guys know that. 4-hour Stokes are curling up. Maybe we see a reversal to the upside. If we break, again, this previous high right here, if we can break beyond $52,000, I think it's likely that we make our way up to test the line of resistance on this shorter term uptrend. December 14th, that would take us to $59,000. That is also the region I want to see broken to break these previous highs back here. And if we can break $60,000, 60 racks, then I would be super confident in the fact that new all-time highs are ahead. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Let's move on to ETH and then close it out with the equities once again. Ether was looking real good up until last night, and now it's looking a little sus, but Ether does have a lot going on here, okay? So all of these converging are creating somewhat of a pennant formation. Pennants, symmetrical triangles, bullish pennant, obviously, as the name implies, do resolve themselves in a bullish fashion. Symmetrical triangles, bullish pennant, it's a bullish pennant in the case that the overall trend is to the upside. Right now, Ether, Bitcoin, everything, all these cryptos are objectively in bull markets. Maybe not Coin and Riot, but I mean longer term, definitely in bull markets. And these symmetrical triangles are, again, do resolve themselves in the general trend of whatever asset it's printing on. Okay, so this triangle is coming to a point real quick. I didn't draw the point here. You guys can envision that in your heads. You guys know what that'll look like. But what I do like to see here with Ether, although this sign line, which is a very, very long-term significant trend line, has been broken, it's still, Ether did bounce off of this short-term line of support on this short-term uptrend, okay? So short-term Ether is still in a series of higher highs and higher lows, although similar to Bitcoin, series of lower highs and lower lows. I mean, Ether's a lot more sideways, but it's short-term. We'll focus on the short-term right now. So high, low, higher high, higher low. Ether is bouncing off short-term support. And it's very possible that in the short term, we do go on to set a higher high because, I mean, this is the line of support right here. This is Ether's line. We'll call that the conservative line of resistance. And that right there is Ether's all-time high. So if everything turns around, bullish case scenario, like a week or so from today, just mid-month December, could see a retest of that all-time high around 48.50. Okay, so that is the bull case scenario. My bear case scenario for Ether is going to be to come back down here to test this area that was previously a very significant ceiling. This high right here, you can see before kind of plateauing for a while. That would be like $3,200. So personally, I'm a buyer of ETH. I'm a converter of US dollars into Ethereum at about $3,200, which again, right now, just feels a bit more likely to me that we do see downside. But again, the bulls are strong. A lot of people want to keep the party going, and hey, maybe we do scratch the new all-time highs. If not by the end of this year, then I would say definitely come Q1 2022 we will start making our way back up, because the reality is money, although they are raising rates, they are tapering bond purchases, etc. The Fed, that is, good old JP, although that is occurring, that's already been priced in to an extent, and there's still so much money flying out there. Okay, there's a lot of capital. Okay, that's Bitcoin, Ether. Again, the sentiment I have for those pretty much relays into the remainder of the crypto markets. But let's talk quickly Coinbase. Again, Coinbase creates revenue. They generate revenue. They catch those fees. They rake in those fees off of trading. It's not whether it's going up or down. It's every transaction that's made. Coinbase takes a fee from it. Okay, so that's why I'm bullish on Coinbase. Coinbase, that is a staggering red candle right there, almost exactly like that one. But Coinbase short term, seeing higher highs and higher lows. I do think in the very, very short term, maybe tomorrow, Friday, or Monday, Tuesday next week, obviously market hours, I do think it's possible that Coinbase makes our way up to bounce here to the line of resistance on this current downtrend. That will take us in the short term to $300, and I honestly think that's super possible. If crypto continues to sell off, then the fear from all of that has bled into Coinbase. So it makes sense if it's still bled into Coinbase, if I'm being honest. But Coinbase, again, still a great company. They still have their NFT platform to launch. There's a lot of bullish tailwinds on Coinbase's side. I know there is a lot of crypto regulatory talk going on right now. The people are trying to figure out what to do here. But Coinbase, they are in very good standing with the SEC. They're doing everything by the book, more so than probably any other company in the cryptocurrency markets. So Coinbase is, especially for the long term, considering I've said this before, I'll say it again, and I'll continue to say it because I truly believe Coinbase is $1 trillion company over the coming 5 to 10 years. I think that's an easy call if I'm being completely honest. So considering we are at a market cap of $56 billion, that represents a potential, we'll just call it 20x. Say they're at a $50 billion valuation. Get to 100 billion, or get to a trillion, that would be a 20x from current levels. And I mean, if you guys are confident, if you guys are feeling the same way, if you guys have strong hands, if you can withstand the volatility, then I think Coinbase, personally, once again, is a great buy at these levels. Let's close out with Riot Blockchain and then call it a day. So Riot is looking terrible from a technical perspective, if I'm being honest, you guys. But let's say Bitcoin turns up. Let's say the equity market turns up. Again, crypto related to equities are going to just pretty much react in an exaggerated manner to what Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing, okay? So Bitcoin goes up. There's obviously exceptions. We've seen exceptions in the past. I'm just talking for the majority of the time, okay? If Bitcoin goes up, Bitcoin miners are going to go up exponentially. If Bitcoin goes down, vice versa, okay? So the fact that Bitcoin, as well as the equity markets, growth sectors of the equity markets, are seeing some pain, that's going to lead to extra pain for Bitcoin miners and crypto equities like we saw today, okay? Mara, I believe, Mara was down, like over 10% today, like 10, 11%. So when it comes to downside potential, I think Riot is, at this point in time, the safest play, I'll say, within the sector of Bitcoin miners, okay? Just because it's seen so much less love than Mara, than Bitfarms. I do think Riot, and considering it's a great company from an operational perspective, I think Riot is a solid buy at these levels. I do think Riot's a solid buy if you, again, same as Coinbase, same argument here for Coinbase. And these two, if you think we're going to 100K in Bitcoin, if you think Ether is going to 10K, then these are all solid buys. But when it comes to downside risk, I do think Riot has the least downside risk, if I'm being honest. I'm not saying there is a downside risk. Of course, there's downside risk. But I think Riot, amongst all the miners, is the safest play in the sector, and I'll just say that right there. That's just kind of me spitballing. But anyway, when it comes to bounce potential, it's very possible that if Bitcoin does turn up, and again, 4-hour stokes on Bitcoin turning up, 4-hour stokes on Riot turning down, but if Bitcoin does choose to turn to the upside and the equity markets turn up, the S&P, the NASDAQ scrape to new all-time highs, there's bullish sentiment across the markets, once again, the equity markets primarily. I do think it's very likely that Riot does come up in the short term, especially after these couple weeks of carnage right here, to bounce up to $35. And obviously we're at $26.50 to $35. If we're, let's say we hit this next week. So the end of next week is the 17th. That would take us to $34.50, okay? So $26.50 to $34.50. If we do see a short-term bounce over the next week is very impressive. And from there, I guess we'll cross these bridges when we come to them. This was meant to be kind of a shorter term play, like a week out. The markets are moving fast, you guys. Again, it's the holiday season. Volatility was to be expected. Unfortunately, the volatility hasn't really been falling in our favor, but that's the game we're playing, you guys. That's okay. You live, you learn from it, and let's just hope you don't get cleaned, okay? Getting pretty close. I'm just kidding, but again, you guys, let me know down in the comments below what you are thinking about the current status of the crypto markets. Why do you think people are selling? Are you still bullish? Do you think we'll close out the year with a bang? Do you think it will take until 2022 to reignite this rally? Let me know in the comments down below. Look forward to hearing your guys' thoughts, and I'll catch you guys downstairs. Until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace, guys.